So in this video we are going to discuss how we can rearrange this 3D model so that we can have a better idea about the 6 degree of freedom pose of the cautery pen. So the idea is that if we can place the plastic tip of the pen on the center of the top facet and simultaneously place the metal tip of the pen in here in the center of the bottom facet in here as it is right now, then it might be helpful for us to detect the pose of the pen instead of detecting the pose of this entire mesh. So in the final step I will actually have to do this using the blender, then load the model in NDDS so that this 3D bounding box is recalculated. But now if I move this 3D model or rotate this 3D model and move it, this 3D bounding box will not be recalculated automatically. So just for demonstration purpose I will be rotating that in this way anyway in here. So let's say that I have moved the object in, rotated the object in here, and I have then placed the object's plastic tip on the center of this top facet of this 3D bounding box, and as a result you see that there is some vacuum in here on the right side, and there are some points on the left side that are not included in the 3D bounding box. So in the recalculated 3D bounding box, it will be moved, the 3D bounding box will be moving to the left so that there is no vacuum in here, and these excluded parts are included in the 3D bounding box. Also you see that there is some vacuum in here. The recalculated 3D bounding box will move upwards, and it will be still touching the center. The metal tip will still be in the center of the bottom facet. However, anything above the top facet will have to be cropped out, because the way, as I mentioned, the way these 3D bounding boxes are generated, that all the points have to be included inside the 3D bounding box, and as especially this wire is always on top of the plastic tip, it will always be the highest point or a higher point in the mesh compared to the plastic tip. However, let's say that I have cropped out the wire. I think it's worth it, because now the orientation of the pen is much more aligned with the 3D bounding box. So by detecting the pose of the 3D bounding box, we will have a much better idea about the pose of this pen, and not only the tip of the pen but also the pose of the pen. We will be losing the rotation information along this axis, along the Z axis, because the pen is being held in different ways by different people. Sometimes the buttons are pressed using the index finger, sometimes the thumb, so we will not be getting the rotation information along this axis, and it might be actually quite impossible anyway because it is a tiny object. However, the rotation along x-axis and y-axis will be much more aligned with the 3D bounding box's rotation, so this definitely gives us a huge advantage in detecting the pose of the cautery pen in here. So I am excited about trying this out, and I won't be able to say whether this actually helps us until I do the testing, generate the data and do all the training in here. So yes, that's all about this proposal, and thank you for watching the video.